going on in the meteors. All the social meteors are blowing up all over the place. All sorts of stuff going on. This is what some people are talking about. I don't know if y'all know this, but back in July, I know that seems like a long time ago, and it's like, Chris, this is supposed to be current events. In July, deep in the darkness of the Antarctic winter, so I mean it's just blacked out, the sun doesn't shine there in the wintertime, the largest iceberg on record, known to be on record, broke off of the Larsen C shelf in Antarctic. And they picked it up on a thermal satellite. So that's how they saw it first back in July. I think we have a picture of the thermal image. So they saw it, and it is roughly the size of Delaware. So about the size of an ice cube that you get out of your refrigerator. It's not like it's Texas or something. I don't know what we're worried about. But this is the largest iceberg known to be on record. The volume of ice contained in this, they say, is roughly twice the volume of water of the size of Lake Erie. So Lake Erie, twice that size, twice that much water frozen in this iceberg. And it wasn't until just recently, just over the weekend, NASA released the first daytime images of this iceberg. We have that here, the thermal one. I don't know what. They were like, just released. I was like, it's the same picture, just not in color. I feel like the other one was more impressive than this one. But there it is. That's what, it's craziness. It's slowly starting to drift away from the shelf. So this is the ice shelf. It cracked here. It slowly is starting to drift out. Again, there was a video of it, but it was less impressive than the picture because it looked about like this, and they would just kind of slowly leap along. So it's not like it's moving fast, but they want to keep track of it because something this size could really hurt some people, ships and stuff like that.
So hey, so what did the ocean say to the iceberg?
I have no idea. What did the ocean say to the iceberg?
Nothing. It just waved.
You'd almost.
I should have done that on the first episode.
Yeah, you could almost retire on that joke. So that's pretty good. So I don't know, but we should probably get a new writer. So you know what a penguin's favorite salad is?
No.
Iceberg lettuce salad. Iceberg salad. Jokes are funnier in lower temperatures. So they say, I don't know how they scale this, but they say it probably weighs roughly 1 trillion tons. 1 trillion tons. I guess they have a giant scale there in Antarctica. They just kind of float it up on. I don't know how they weigh it, but it also is trying. Can we go back to the picture? They say it's the size of Delaware, but it looks like Manhattan. I don't know if you paid attention in your geography classes, but it looks kind of like Manhattan. It's bigger than Manhattan, obviously, but looks kind of like it. All right, so
less crowded.
Definitely less crowded. Definitely less crowded. There were 2 guys actually stranded on an iceberg one time. They had a telescope. That's what that little dot is there. It's 2 guys, and they were stranded on this iceberg, and they're out there. And one of them was looking through the telescope, looking for help. He said, "Dude, we're rescued. We don't have to worry about it." He's like, "What? What?" He said, "Look, in the telescope, there's a ship on the horizon." As it got closer, like, "Look, it's the Titanic." No. So we should have stopped with the penguin joke. That was.
We probably should have never started.
We should have moved on a long time ago. So moving on. Today is a special day. I don't know if y'all know this. If you keep up with things, anyone know what today is? October 4th.
National
Taco Day. That is right. Today is National Taco Day.
Why is it on Wednesday?
Tomorrow is National Bring Your Bible to School Day. There you go. Today, Taco Bell, of course, all of the places who serve tacos were doing something special for the day, but Taco Bell introduced a $5 box of tacos that includes all their tacos, the classic crunchy taco as well as the 3 varieties of the Dorito taco, the nacho cheese, the Cool Ranch, and the fiery, and a special gift box for today. Now, some of you may be being like, I have never heard of this Taco Day. Where did Taco Day come from? And Taco Bell actually put together an informational video teaching us the history. This video posted yesterday. I think we have a video of that video here.
Oh, hello. I was just getting ready. Tomorrow is Taco Day, and El Cruncho is coming. Well, what, you don't know about El Cruncho? Well, I'll tell you the tale. There once was a chef named Glenn who dreamed of making tacos for the entire world. But no matter how hard he tried, he could never make enough. Then one night, he had an idea.
If I can't make tacos for everyone, I'll make one giant taco big enough to feed the entire world. I'll never make a taco big enough for everyone.
Hello, Glenn. So, my name is El Cruncho, and your love for tacos has brought me to life. Each year on this day, I will make tacos for the whole world.
Wow, but how will you find everyone?
All they need to do is ring a bell so I know where they are.
You mean like some kind of Taco Bell?
Yes, a Taco Bell. Well, I better get going. I've got a long night ahead of me. We'll just squeeze in here.
How are you going to get to everyone in my old taco truck?
I'm gonna fly it.
You can fly?
I'm a giant talking taco, Glenn. Are you really surprised I can fly?
Fair point.
Yeah.
And so, each year on October 4th, El Cruncho still flies around the world, delivering his tacos to Taco Bells everywhere. If you're lucky, you might even catch a glimpse of him.
Seasoned beef things to all. And no matter what kind of hot sauce you choose, happy Taco Day to you!
There you go. So, happy Taco Day. Now, as has become a trend on many of these talk shows, and as someone leaked, I don't know who leaked it, but somebody leaked on social media that this might be a giveaway show. So if you look underneath your seats, a lucky viewer tonight has a Taco Bell sauce taped underneath their seat. Check your seats. Check your seats. That lucky viewer left the room. Go and grab it. You're it. You found it. He left. So you found it. So, all right. So come on up here. Come on up here. You, sir. We're sitting next to the person who won. That person left. So you win a commemorative box of Taco Day tacos from Taco Bell, special collector's box for Taco Day. Let me get that on, folks. We will not be underdone. I know some of you are like, I wanted to win. Well, you know what? You can. You can tonight, ladies and gentlemen. You get a taco sauce, and you get a taco sauce. Everybody gets a taco sauce! Take that, Oprah! Make sure you don't step on any of the taco sauces. We're currently in between thinking companies. Clean up on aisle 3. Alright, tonight's going to be a great show. Glad y'all are here. Y'all stick around while I clean up the numbers. So just to go ahead and address the elephant in the room, Todd Higgins Marcellus made a little bit of a mockery earlier, but as you've probably noticed by now, the bleaching process has begun for me. I told you all last week. Some of you are still shocked, even though I warned you, but so I bleached for the first time on Sunday.
Looks like you dyed it red.
It looks like I dyed it red, so I'll have this awkward kind of red, yellow hair. We should have used the intro for Conan tonight. So I'll have this for a week or so, and then it will just slowly fade to off-white, and then eventually white. So I got 4 or 5 more to go, but it's going to be, it'll get there. It'll get there. So y'all get to enjoy the process as we go, and it'll all be documented on video. So hopefully we're filming in duplicity tonight. So we have 2 cameras going. Last week, some of you may have heard we had some technical difficulties. I deleted all of the previous week's videos to make space on my phone for the next week's video, but I forgot to delete the recently deleted file. So I deleted those, and then I deleted the recently deleted photos. So now I have plenty of memory on my phone.
You lost me.
And I was like, I deleted it. I don't need it to go to another folder that I now also have to delete. But it's all been deleted.
You
So
deleted it out of the cloud.
So, well, the cloud doesn't matter. It's up there, so it's not on my phone.
Yeah.
So, that's why we have 2 cameras tonight. So we're filming on 2 cameras. So between the 2, hopefully, we'll get a full show. Last week, we kind of went old school in the middle. We got the beginning, we got the end, and the middle was kind of like a radio show. So you just kind of sat and listened. I did my best to recap the evening. But so if you missed last week's show, really sorry. It was a great show with Wayne.
You just had to be here.
You had to be here. So that will teach you. If you missed, that teaches your lesson. Don't miss, because we don't know. It may not record. But tonight's show is going to be really great. We got a great show. I forgot to grab my picture off the printer, so I have no picture to hold up. But great show tonight. We got country legend Hank Williams Jr. is stopping by the show. That's Kip Marcellus is stopping. Wait, can we see a side by side here? I'm confused. I thought Hank Jr. was stopping by, but apparently, sorry folks. Apparently, it's not Hank Williams Jr. is not stopping by the show tonight. I apologize for that. It is Kip Marcellus. Kip Marcellus is here tonight. He's here with us. Not yet. You come out after the commercial. So he's really excited to be here, ladies and gentlemen. Really excited. Interesting. You don't want my tacos. I should have got tacos for the guests. I didn't send it. You were sitting in the wrong chair. Sorry. But interesting fact about Kip. So I met, was going through looking for some photos and trying to get some stuff from the family. Interesting fact. Apparently, Kip did not own a shirt from 1976 to 1987. This is his birthday, for crying out loud. There was a cake on the table. There are people around. It was so yeah. There was like every picture. I was like, dude, did they not have shirts in the 70s and 80s? He promised to wear a shirt tonight, so he's here. So that should be good. So it's going to be a great show. We're glad y'all are here. Y'all stick around.
Uh-oh. Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Ronnie, how happy are students to go to after-school break time?
I'd say happier than a camel on Wednesday.
Hump day?
Get happy. Get after-school break time every Wednesday after school.
All right, welcome back. Glad y'all stuck around. As I said, we got a great show tonight. Kip Marcellus. Gonna be a great show. He's excited to be here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, Mr. Kip Marcellus. All right.
I think the double cameras is to catch all this.
We're filming in 3D, so getting all the angles. So. Thank you for being here tonight. And I also, want to make sure we set things straight as I was investigating. Glad to have you here, Kip, if that is your real name.
It's my real name. It's my middle name.
Okay, all right.
My real name.
All right,
It's on my birth certificate.
All right, I wasn't sure whether, I didn't see the birth certificate in there. I just saw.
It didn't have a shirt on either.
I just no shirt in the birth video. I just saw I saw report cards, but your first name is
Alan.
Alan. So I was like, I got the wrong photo album here. So all right, so Alan Kip Marcellus. All right, so you go by Kip. When did you make the transition to Kip?
Kindergarten.
Kindergarten.
They asked me what name would I prefer, and I just said Kip because that's what everybody called me.
There you go. It's a whole lot easier to write, too.
Yeah.
So
3 letters versus 4.
yeah. When we started having to write, I transitioned very quickly from Christopher to Chris. So nothing against Christopher, but when you're a dyslexic child who can't read or write, and you have to write Christopher on the top of everything, I was already had bad enough grades. I didn't need people taking points off for misspelling the name. So worked down to that. So now you are you're married to Angela.
Yes.
I think you got a picture of the two of y'all. Happy couple.
Hey, he's got a shirt on.
So you got a shirt on. So yeah, all of
I don't go without shirts now.
Yeah, all of
certain age you stop that.
the rest of the pictures tonight have shirts on them. So I did not. I just got the one picture there. So there's a lot of them, but I just took one. So and y'all been together for a long time. Y'all met in the 7th grade.
Yes, we were 13.
13, met in the 7th grade, and been together. That was a little past the 7th grade, but y'all younger picture there.
See, I still have all that left.
And all there. So you and I heard some stories. And it was interesting because I met with Kip first, and so I heard all the stories, and then Angela got home. And then I heard all the correct stories. The minor details. So the way that I originally heard was, you'd said that y'all been together, met in the 7th grade, been together ever since, but you said there were a couple of times, you said you got held back for 8th grade? Or
1st grade I was held back. And then
Okay.
Because that's how I was a grade behind Angie.
Okay, so you were a grade behind.
Right.
And so when she got to high school, you were still in junior high.
I was still in junior high.
And so
she was too good.
She was too good for you. Well, she's still too good for you, but that's how it goes for most of us. So they're always too good for us, but they accept us anyways. But so you had that little time, and then you said there was a part where she kind of left you there for a little while because you borrowed her car to do something. You went.
Yeah, and I don't recommend this. I borrowed her car to take out another girl.
Yeah, that story I heard there from Kip. Then when Angela got home, what period of the relationship were you in when you borrowed her car to?
We were engaged.
I was thinking like 16 years old, something like that. Then Angela got home. She's like, I did leave him briefly when he borrowed my car to take someone out while we were engaged. I said, you didn't tell me you were engaged. The minor details.
My car didn't run.
And you have 3 kids?
We've got 3 kids.
3 kids?
Yeah.
And how many grandkids?
Fixing to be 10.
Fixing to be 10.
Yeah,
So,
in November we'll have 10.
all right, going along. And I see here that your son is actually the co-host of the #1 rated show on the KCOC network. There he is, good looking guy there. So,
Yeah, but he'll never pass his Bocephus.
there you go. Not everyone can pull that look off. So, I think we have a picture of the two of y'all younger. There he is. Getting excited about dyeing those eggs. So,
Remember like it was yesterday.
yeah. By the way, Todd, you do owe me money because I did not use a picture of you playing with a doll. So,
I've got girls at home. It's part of my life now.
You didn't have daughters then, though.
I had 2 sisters.
So, and I give interesting fact here. You may not actually remember this, but we actually met some years back. I mean, a long time ago. As some of them mentioned, you once had hair.
Yeah.
I also once had hair, and we actually met years ago at the barber shop. I think we have a picture of that. Kip and I at the barber shop. we were both sitting there side by side, and both of us at the same time said, just take a little off the top. And we looked over and smiled, and we've been friends ever since. So they took a little more than a little off the top. So, but it's good to have you here, and just to talk about your life. I forgot to the texting questions part. I left that out of my notes. Do we have the text slide for joining the text conversation? Those of you that don't know, you can join in this conversation. You can also ask some questions. So text Chris Dowell 82 if you haven't already to 37607 to join that conversation. You can text in questions. Again, kind of keep those on a serious note of life and kind of looking for advice on things there. If you don't have a texting device, you can use your neighbors to quietly, again, send that text in, or on the corner of the sound booth there are some pens and paper. You can write a question down, and at the next commercial break you can bring that up to the desk, and I'll ask those questions then. So coming out of last week's show, again, I'm learning as much about our guests each week as you are, and it's been really cool to do that. I did not know a lot of the story that you're going to share tonight, but Wayne Ledoux was here last week, and he was talking, and as he closed out and we asked about kind of the advice that he would give, he talked about our poster in the back of Mount Rushmore that says, "You are who you hang out with." And Wayne talked about the importance of friends, the importance of the group of people that you hang out with. Choose your friends wisely because they rub off on you. You become like the people that you hang around. And you came up afterwards and said that your life is kind of a testament to that. And you have, looking back on your life, you have kind of those two sections, and they're defined by the people that you hung around with in those two times of your life. So why don't you kind of fill us in a little bit, and I'll just kind of turn the mic over to you to kind of share that story.
Growing up, my first 8 years of life, my dad was in the Navy, so we went from coast to coast, and which was fine. Most of my relatives and everybody live in Iowa, so that's where my family originated from. So he got out of the Navy, we moved to Iowa, and he got a job at Baylor Hospital here in Texas, and or here in Dallas, and we thought we were going to move to Texas, so we moved here, and he decided he didn't like that job, so he quit, and then right after that, it seemed like my parents' marriage quit. My dad moved off, and my mom started working nightclubs and left us all home pretty much by ourselves. Well, with that situation, I wound up quitting school in my 10th grade year. And I got an apartment complex. Moved into an apartment with 3 buddies. And those 3 buddies are the people you should not hang out with. Our refrigerator was full of beer. My cabinets were full of whiskey. We had a friend that worked at Sonic, so we would pull around back and he'd load our car up with, we had a gallon of mustard, a gallon of ketchup, a gallon of pickles, hamburger meat, buns, and that's what we lived on. But if it wasn't for, see, I'd already met Angie. We were together. Her dad did what my dad was supposed to do. Put driver's ed, helped me buy my first car. So, on the perspective of, I was trapped between good people and bad people. But I lived with the bad people. One of the guys that I lived with is serving time in prison right now because he killed his wife. And that was the road that I was going down. But with the strength that Angie and her family had on me, kept me from going there. Because otherwise I wouldn't be sitting here right now, Todd wouldn't be here, and I would probably be in prison or dead right now because of that. But I started hanging out with Angie when we were 13. Started going to Lake Texoma, having a good old time, and I met Aunt Maxine right here. That's Angie's aunt, and their family. And their family, it was okay to go shirtless because neither one of them knew how to button a shirt. And those days, I was happier. I felt better because I was in a place where I knew I was loved. The other place, I didn't even feel accepted, but I felt as a challenge. There was a point in time in my life where I was so angry, I hit it real bad because my dad abandoned us. To this day, he doesn't even see us. He doesn't talk to us. He doesn't care about his grandkids, great-grandkids, or great-great-grandkids. And he don't want to have anything to do with us. So I made a choice. I could go down one or two roads. I could go down that same road that he went down. Because the only way they're going to find out that he died is there's going to be a smell coming out of this little apartment complex or something. Because that's the only way anybody would know, because he doesn't associate with people. Or I was going to take the other road, and I was going to be there for my family. So I took that road. I took that road just a little too hard, working 24/7, missing some of my family growing up, and things like that. But if a man would have crossed my path on fire at that point in time in my life, I'd probably thrown gasoline on him, because men abandoned me and destroyed anything that I was ever meant for. But there is a man by the name of Billy Gurley who used to be the youth minister here at this church. And I pulled up one night, they were having a lock-in, and I was dropping Valerie off for her first lock-in. We were just here. And he talked me into staying. I looked like Chris Dow with a big beard and long hair and everything at this time, and ZZ Top, ghetto, and all this good stuff. And he felt that he could trust me enough to hang out with some kids all night long. And I thought, wow, okay, there must be something to this. Wasn't too much later after that, I took over the junior high youth ministry here at this church. And we started going on trips and things like that. And then I wound up being the part-time youth minister in between youth ministers, and we'd go to Colorado, Louisiana, and all kinds of stuff. But it wasn't till one day when I went on trek. We were sitting at the top of the mountain. We were at high camp. I walked out from among the trees, and I looked up in the sky, and I seen the brightest stars I'd ever seen. You don't see them here. And that's the first time I heard God's voice. So I came down off that mountain, I destroyed all my AC/DC CDs and things like that, because I'd pull up here to the youth group with blaring out my speakers, Highway to Hell. And that's the highway I was on. Even though I knew God. But knowing Him and being a part of Him are two different things. Growing up, I didn't go to church. We went to church 2 times a year. Can anybody guess those 2 times a year is? Christmas and Easter. So we were the CEOs of church. Christmas and Easter only. Until I met Angie. But I still didn't go to church with her. It wasn't until I had started having kids that I started going to church. And a man took his time out to study with me. And I was baptized into Christ. But wasn't baptized into Christ because I wanted to serve Him. I didn't want to go to hell. But I still didn't want to have any part with Him. Until I came off that mountaintop. But then I was still an angry man. And I went through a seminar that taught me how to forgive. How many of us in here ever thought about having to forgive somebody? Yeah. That person deserve forgiveness? Jesus says He does. And if you don't think He does, He does. He or she deserves it. But it's hard, isn't it? It's hard to truly forgive somebody that's really hurt you, right? But that is the number one key and tool that took me over the edge to where all I do now is serve Jesus Christ. I went through a seminar back in 2003, and I still do that seminar today. I direct the program of it because I believe it so much. So much. You kids have a great early start and a benefit here. Grab hold of it and run. Because God's got doors kicked open, wide open for you to run through. And if you don't, those doors are closed, may not open back up. So, I lived a life of drinking beer and whiskey and eating hamburgers and women coming into the apartment. I will say this though, I never slept with anybody while I was sharing that apartment. Never. The first woman I ever slept with is when we got married, and that was Angie. That wasn't the case with the rest of my friends. Now, some of my friends have found good people and have changed their lives around too. A lot of them haven't. There's two ways to getting out of a life like that. One is to change, or the other one is to go to prison or die. Those are your choices. You got a choice of life or a choice of death. And I chose life. And I tell you what, it's been a ride. Ever since I grabbed hold of Jesus and started letting Him lead me, it's been a ride. It's been a much better ride and much more exciting than ever than getting drunk and seeing who I can fight the next day. So it's very important to choose the people you hang with. One of the guys I hung with, his mom started working nightclubs, so I started shooting pool room tournaments when I was 16 and getting drunk at 16. But I would go to the bars with his dad also, the guy that shot his wife. And I thought, man, when I was in those bars, this is the life. I can't wait till I'm old enough to do this stuff myself. But God said, no, I got something else for you. And here I sit in front of you today, challenging you to forgive your past, grab hold of the coattails of Jesus. That's all that lady touched was the hem of His garment, and she was healed. Grab hold of that and let Him take you through life. It'll be a much sweeter life. I'm not saying it's going to be easier. It's going to be a much sweeter life for you now. I'm open to any questions. I left out a lot of details that y'all probably didn't need to hear. But that's not a great life to live. You know what I mean? keep on going. Yeah.
We'll go to a commercial break. If you got any questions that you haven't sent in, you can send those, or if you wrote any down, you can bring those up. And we'll answer those questions and some more right after this commercial break.
Are you unhappy with your life? Are you dissatisfied with the way people look at you? Then you need the latest in nutritional diet. The Christian Virtues Diet consists of a balanced spiritual fruit diet. In just a few weeks, you will see a noticeable change in your life's production of love, joy, peace, and 6 other essential fruits of the spiritual balanced life. Come to these free classes Sunday mornings at 9:30.
We got some questions here, but before we get into those, there was one part of the story that you were going to share, and we got the video part fixed. So I think those pictures should come up now. We can talk about that. So if you want to share that part of the story, they got those pictures queued up and ready.
How many of you are 16 and are getting ready to drive? How many of you are driving?
I'm not ready to drive.
Okay. How many of you have ever drank beer? It's all right, we're not going to kill you.
beer.
Okay. I want you to know, I had 5 buddies. 5 buddies killed one night by being rammed by a drunk driver. 5 of them. I was riding around because my other brother was a sergeant in Balch Springs Police Department. So I was supposed to be in that car. Is that the car up there?
Yeah.
I was supposed to be in that car, but there wasn't room. So I decided, me and my other buddy decided we'll just call his brother, go ride around with a police car. That'd be even funner. Until we got the call. And I seen 5 buddies of mine scattered along the road. 5 of them. 1 died. I pray to God that that's not God. The alcohol. I know as a teenager you're going to want to try it, you're going to experiment with it, you're going to want to do all kinds of things with it. Look what's happens when you get behind the wheel. I'll give every one of you my phone number. And you can call me if you ever get drunk, and I'll come get you and take you home. And we can go pick your car up the next day. That hurts. And it probably wouldn't have been so effective if I didn't see my buddies on the highway, on the road. Some of them was dismembered. So here's my challenge to you guys. It's kind of a 2-part. I'm looking straight over here. John. Find the right group of people to be with. If your friends won't pray with you, they may not be the people that you need to hang with. If your friends offer you a drink or keep forcing you, they're not the friends to be with. Your friends should be like-minded of you. And I know you're going to want to experiment, but you need to make an oath between you and God and your family that you don't get into the vehicle drunk. Because the vehicle that hit them, that man was drunk. He was doing 120 miles an hour down Beltline Road in Mesquite with his headlights out one night. Killed all 5 of my buddies and his passenger. He was the only one that wanted to work. make that oath between you, God, and family, but that's not going to be you.
To go along with that, these cell phones are
Yes.
just as dangerous as getting behind that wheel when you're drunk. Because you're taking your eyes and your hands off that road. And that's exactly what your car can look like too, just by responding, I'm on my way, or okay. That's just enough to cause a wreck. And that could be your buddies. That could be you. The text message, the email, the phone call, it's not that important. It can wait till you get where you're going. Because you may not get to where you're going.
I don't want this to be a gripe session to you guys. I'm lucky. I'm lucky because I was supposed to be in that car that night. But I gave it up to my buddy Larry Rader, who is no longer here.
Thank you for sharing that part of your story. Because those things can happen so fast and seem to happen more often than we like. We've never liked to have it happen, but I mean, it seems like every time we turn the news on, it's happening again, and it can happen so fast. A couple questions, several here that kind of go all together. We're talking about asking, how did you get away from the bad friends? And another one, what advice would you give to someone who's tried to change, but still keeps getting drug into that group of bad people and is wanting to get in with better people? So how do you make that? What's the advice there?
Well, the first thing is my wife and her family was persistent. It kept pulling at me and pulling at me and pulling at me. And I knew I felt better over there than I did on the other side. So you have to make a conscious decision that which road to go. You have to make that, and sometimes it's not hard. What made it easy for me is because I love that girl sitting right over there, right behind Mr. Ledoux. And I wanted to be with her. Now, that sounds strange because a lot of you will probably have multiple girlfriends or boyfriends throughout school. I only wanted that one. And she wasn't going to follow me down that road, so I followed her down her road. Now, I work on a seminar and we talk to people about situations like this. Sometimes, to make a decision, you might have to relocate. If you have to change schools, you'd have to have parents willing to do that. You have to make that decision. You know who is good to be around, you know who is not good to be around, and you just have to make that decision. And if your buddies go, come on, you don't like us no more, you can look at them and say, no, I don't like you. I love you, but I don't like what you're doing. So I'm going to go over here. You be the leader. You be the one in charge, not the other.
So another aspect was difficult to do, making that decision when you finally had to put your foot down.
No, I didn't find it really difficult. Yeah, I was wanting something better. I knew in my heart I wasn't like them. And I wanted something better in life. I didn't want my childhood, and I darn sure didn't want to be like my father, and I didn't want to be like them. I just didn't know who I wanted to be. But I knew I was different. So that decision really wasn't that hard. It's going to be harder. It's going to be different for everybody, but for me, it wasn't that hard.
what advice would you give on, if you find yourself surrounded all the time with kind of those negative people and negative influences, of how to find that positive support or that anchor to help steer you away?
Well, that depends on where you're finding your your negative people. Is it your home life? Is that where you're going home all the time too? There's really no way around that except to shut yourself in a room and not pay attention to them or anything, or you take and show them something different. You try to be positive all the time, and your positive statements and your positive life will rub off on them. It will. So, but if it's at school, if it's somewhere around school, get with your school counselor. Get with your teachers. Get with somebody that can take you to a different place.
So look for those positive influences and get in there, force your way in if you have to, and
right.
If you're stuck where you're at, then be the change yourself.
Be the change yourself.
So it takes that willpower. It takes that desire to want something different,
right.
And you have to decide that you want something different. But the more positive influence you surround yourself with, getting in, with groups like people we have here and students here, and getting involved in a positive atmosphere is good. And just deciding that you're going to be different, you're going to change, and put your foot down and don't give up on that. So,
one thing I want to say is you can't change nobody. It's impossible for you to change. There's only one person you can change, and who do you think that is? Yourself. That's the only person. Now, you changing yourself, it's going to cause a ripple effect. And people's lives are going to start changing because you changed. Does that make sense to y'all? And you can't force people to accept you. But you have to accept who you are, where you're at this moment. You have to love who you are. And there's a lot of teenagers that don't. They hate who they are. But you gotta accept who you are at that time. And then that's going to cause a ripple effect also.
thank you for being here, for sharing your life, being willing to be transparent and answer questions, and just for the ministry that you do continuously, and the willingness that you have to continue to serve and help people, and the willingness to come and be an influence on this group here. So thank you for being here. And
thing with the other fathers of multiple kids that have been here. Who's your favorite child? Since two of them are here.
I'm going to have to, since Valerie's been sick, it's her right now.
She gets the kitty now. She gets the kitty.
I'll play that card. Who's your favorite grandchild? Who's your favorite grandchild?
McKinley.
Hey, Kinley.
Before we start a family war here, we're going to go to a commercial break. We got a game that's coming up right after this.
I believe. I totally believe. I definitely believe.
I definitely believe.
There's scientific evidence. I read about it once. There's archaeological evidence.
There's all kinds of documentation. Incredible people heard voices.
I heard the voices of bright light. It was bright lights in the sky. There was a great light. I was even abducted once. Wait, what?
Dude, we're talking about the Bible.
We're not talking about aliens?
Wait, we're not talking about aliens.
We're not talking about aliens.
We are back.
This isn't alcohol, is it?
No, this is water.
I didn't know if we were going to-
We forgot to mention what exactly is it that you do for a living.
I'm a plumber.
You're a plumber, so we got since you're a plumber and you deal in waterworks, we have a water-themed game tonight. We're going to play Water War, ladies and gentlemen. So the way this works is we're going to play a game of war. So we're each going to take turns drawing cards. High car wins, and the winner gets to throw a cup of water in the loser's face. Each of us have 5 cups of water. Whoever throws their 5 cups of water first is the winner of the war, and they get the right to throw a pitcher of water on the loser. It's about time the suit gets washed anyway. So, all right, leave the shirt on. So, the shirt to stay on. All right, so you ready? And we'll do this. We'll do 3, 2, 1, shoot. So, 3, 2, 1, shoot. I didn't stack the deck. Y'all saw me shuffle. 3, 2, 1, shoot! Yeah!
Watch the mics.
3, 2, 1, shoot! Depends on what you're looking at. It's 9 and 6. 9 and 6. All right. 3, 2, 1, shoot! 3, 2, 1, shoot! Got a white shirt on here. 3, 2, 1, shoot! Oh no! Remember, water being that cold when I put it in. 3, 2, 1, shoot! Yes! 3, 2, 1, shoot! Oh, tie! 3, 2, 1, shoot! Oh no! And this is the last one. That's all the time we have tonight. It's been a great Father God, I thank you for the blessing of tonight. Father, I thank you for the blessing of Kip's life and the way that you have moved in him, the way that you have guided his footsteps, the way that you have surrounded him with the right people at the right time. I thank you for Angie and her family, the influence that they had, their ability to be able to step in, her father to be a father to Kip. Father, I thank you for his willingness to seek forgiveness, to be able to forgive those who had hurt him, and to be able to put the burdens of that baggage down. Father, so many of us carry the hurt, we carry the pain, and that negative energy, that hurt and those scars have a way to continually bring us down. We can remove ourselves from those negative people around us, but Father, sometimes we can become our own worst enemy. Father, I thank you for the tenderness of his heart. Father, I thank you for the way that you provided him ways out. You promised that you will provide for us those ways to get out of those bad situations, and I thank you for doing that for Kip. I thank you for the ministry of his life, the way that he continues to help people
through those difficult journeys, the way that he helps people to put that hurt down, to let go of that grief and that pain. Father, to find you, to find that peace and that comfort and that rest in you and you alone. Father, I pray that you would continue to watch over him and his family. You would continue to bless them, continue to grow that family closer together in love, and most importantly, closer together in love with you. Thank you for the blessing of the night, and I pray that you be with each and every person here, that you watch over them, protect them, lead them, and guide their steps each and every day. For those that are struggling, Father, I pray that you would light a path before them to journey them away from that darkness and into your glorious light. For those, Father, who are not struggling, I pray that you would help them to be a light in the dark world that we live in. Father, help us for each day. Help us to see those opportunities you put before us. Help us to see people with your eyes, to love them with your heart, and to serve them with your hands. It's in your Son's name we pray. Amen. Thank you very much for being here, guys. Be here next week. We got Jane Lucas stopping by and some more games and fun.